Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I just wanted to do a little update. It's been well over a year, nearly a year and a half since I first had my hernia. So I just wanted to check back in and let everyone know how things have been going, where I'm at, and sort of my experiences so far. Now, I should probably start by answering everyone's big question, right? Has the hernia come back? The answer is no, it has not come back. Since it's gone in, it has stayed in, the bulge has not reappeared. However, there have been a couple of close calls or potential scares that I will talk about later on in the video. All right, for any of y'all who might be new to my channel, I'll do a quick recap of my story. I first suffered from an inguinal hernia back in May 2021. I had it, had to stop being active, thought about getting a surgery, decided I wanted to avoid that and try to heal it naturally if I could. Once I decided to make some lifestyle changes, I was able to get the hernia to go back in with just under 2 months of actual effort and lifestyle changes. These changes mostly involved intermittent fasting, weekly water fasts, diet changes, some different rehab exercises done daily, lots of rest, not pushing myself or aggravating the condition, a combination of things that I was sort of researching on my own, seeing what I could find, and just sort of trying to implement in my life and see what would work, what wouldn't work, what felt good, what didn't feel good. Again, since there wasn't a ton of information out there about healing hernias naturally, and I'm pretty sure there's still not, I was sort of just taking shots in the dark, trying to see what could work for me without, anything for certain. And to my surprise, after trying a lot of these things in, like I said, just under 2 months, I was able to get the hernia to go back in. Now, if you want to hear the full story of how I did that and all the steps, you can take a look at some of my other videos. I was sure to record the process so that others could sort of find their way as well. Now, during that time, I decided to have a vegetarian diet. I maintained that for the 2 months that I was actually engaged in the process, and I continued eating vegetarian for about 4 months after. I started bringing a bit of meat back into my diet around October, November of 2021. Now, after that, my diet pretty much returned to normal like it was before, except for maybe having smaller portions and not overeating so much when I did eat. Another thing that I continued after those 2 months was practicing Nauli Kriya. I found that Nauli Kriya was probably the most useful rehab exercise that I did. I would do it every morning on an empty stomach before my yoga practice, and I continued to do that daily for about a year. And again, I would only spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes each morning doing a few rounds of Nauli. And now, in the past 5-6 months or so, I will do Nauli occasionally, but to be honest, it's been less and less often, as I don't really think about the hernia or worry about it coming back too much anymore. Now, since I was able to rehab this hernia, when I got back into my exercise, I started slowly, as I talked about in some of the other videos, starting with my yoga practice, some light calisthenics, walking, getting into lifting with light weights until finally I was able to return to fully working out, lifting heavy again, going rock climbing, full yoga practice. I've been mostly focusing on Muay Thai and running in the past year and a half or so. So I've been able to do that without any problems so far, no reoccurrences in the hernia. Now, doing Muay Thai has been tricky and challenging at times, especially towards the beginning when I was somewhat fresh off of having the hernia. I was pretty cautious about twisting my body around, throwing kicks, throwing knees, taking knees to both my stomach and sometimes into that lower area where it would seem pretty dangerous. I have been cautious in my Muay Thai training, and it has been a bit scary at times. There were actually a couple of occasions that I thought the hernia might be coming back due to Muay Thai training, but luckily I was able to rest and let it go away. They may have actually been sports hernias after I did some research on them. So one time I was clinching with somebody who was rather new to Muay Thai, and he ended up delivering a pretty hard knee directly into my pelvic area, like exactly where the hernia had been popping out. That one hurt pretty bad, and for a few days after that, I felt like a difficulty with lifting my right leg. If I was in a seated position, like sitting on the motorbike, and I wanted to lift the right leg, yeah, I had a hard time doing that, and it was pretty painful right there. So that was the first scare. The second scare, again at Muay Thai training, I was practicing a flying knee, a cool new move that I wanted to use. I was doing it on one of the bags that was maybe hung a little bit low, or I just connected with it a little bit low. And when I tried to do the jumping knee, my knee was under the bag, and the bag sort of wasn't at the right level for that strike or whatever it was, and ended up pulling my groin area again, and it being quite painful. Again, I rested for about a week, didn't do anything at all until it felt better, and then I was able to get back to training. So both of these instances were sort of direct injuries or blows to the area where I had the hernia. They both healed up okay, but I made sure that when both of them happened, that I took some time to rest and didn't try to push through. Now, the hernia, the actual bulge never came back through, but I did some reading online that sports hernias don't necessarily have a bulge. So maybe they could have been light sports hernias or maybe not. Either way, luckily, the hernia did not pop back out either of those times, and it has been fine in all my training and fights since then. Now, another issue that I have mentioned in other videos was that for a while I would feel sort of sensations in the hernia area, particularly during times when I maybe ate a lot of red meat, was eating things that didn't quite agree with me, things like that. So that probably continued for maybe 5-6 months after the hernia had gone in, where I would continue to sort of feel sensations occasionally when working out too. Like when I first got back into doing squats with weight, I sometimes would feel sort of a sensation in the area where the hernia was. I didn't feel any bulge, nothing came out, but I just noticed like something was going on there. There was some kind of feeling, but that subsided. I have not felt any sensation in that area for a long time now, regardless of my diet or my activities. So that was, again, only short-lived for maybe 5 or 6 months, and now it doesn't happen anymore. Now, although I've gone back to a pretty similar diet to what I had before, I do generally eat lighter portions than I did before. I'm still doing intermittent fasting at least 12 hours a day to up to maybe 16 hours a day, somewhere between there. I'm not too strict on it, but generally within that range. That's the amount of time I'm not eating each day. And I've also been trying to avoid foods that seem to cause inflammation in my body. There are some foods that I've noticed might cause me to feel bloated or sluggish, some things that slow down my digestion. For me, sometimes that could be red meats, dairy, things like that. I do still eat these things, but I try to limit them and not overdo them when I do decide to enjoy them. Now, again, these could be different for everyone. I've had tons of people in the comments talk about different foods that might cause inflammation for them. Some people say it could be wheats and breads. Some people say processed foods. Some people say a combination of proteins and carbs. I don't know. There have been lots and lots of comments and lots of people throwing things out. Again, I think it comes down to that every person's body is different and everyone will have different reactions to all these different types of foods. So I think the key is that you need to find out what your body likes and what doesn't quite agree with it. And it's going to be a bit of experimenting, finding out what's good for you, what's not good for you. Again, like I like to say, always listen to your body. That's the most important thing. It will give you all the answers you need if you listen to it. Now, since training Muay Thai and doing a lot more intense training, I have been maintaining a lower body weight. So before my hernia, I was generally like 80 to 85 kilos, somewhere between there. These days, I sort of range between 75 to 78. So it's not a huge difference, but I do think my body feels a lot more lean, a lot more healthy. Like I'm not overdoing it trying to add on extra weight or size or muscle. I'm just trying to get the best performance out of my body, eating as it feels natural, and my body sort of maintained a bit of a lighter weight. Now, this may be important as one of the causes of hernias often is not necessarily obesity, but just being overweight, having a bit of excess body fat. Sometimes getting rid of that could also clean out your intestines, inflammation. A lot of things could be going on in your body based off of your diet. And yeah, just making sure you're in tune is a good way to make sure that everything's flowing smoothly and that there won't be any blockages or bulges or things that could cause a hernia. Now, to those people who have been with the channel and trying to heal their hernias, people who are just discovering this channel, I just want to welcome you here. I've made quite a few videos that I hope can be useful to you. Again, everyone's experience is different, everyone's body's different, everyone's condition is different. So just because something worked for me doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for you. I'm just trying to give everyone the guide that I used, sort of the things that I did, how it worked for me. You can also go in the comments. There have been many people commenting on these videos, leaving all kinds of information, talking about their journeys, their transformations, some people's healing, some people's process of trying to heal. Really, the community that has been built in these comment sections around these videos has been amazing. So much love and support between everyone. So definitely check out those comments, reach out to people, see if they can give you any more information, and see what they've already given, because like I said, this community has been amazing and people have shared so much love, so much information, and I really hope to hear more success stories and more people who are trying to take on their condition naturally if possible. Now again, this isn't necessarily going to work for everyone. For some people, they might not be able to heal naturally, they might have to get surgery, and that's 100% okay. All I'm trying to do is say that there could be other options. They might not work for everyone, they might not work all the time, but you don't necessarily have to have an invasive surgery, open up your body and get some mesh put in there that may or may not have issues down the road and need to be repaired. You know, there are many surgeries that go off successfully, they have no issues, they don't need to be replaced. Lots of success stories as well. So I'm not saying that surgery is necessarily a bad thing. I just think that if you can avoid it and if there's a natural way to heal, people should be aware of that and people should be given that option and be able to try, find out for themselves. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope you get some value and some information out of it. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to leave a comment. Talk with some of the other people who have commented on my other videos, see what you can find. Again, use the community the best you can. There has been a ton of help out there, so I hope everybody is able to find some value, and I wish everybody the best of luck in their journey. Happy healing, everyone. Thank you so much.